and really excited to be here in front of the blinding lights, so I can't see a damned thing. I wrote a whole thing out, and you'll be happy to know that I left that behind. I do want to talk about a couple of things here today. So I'm Kevin McCoy. First and foremost, I'm an artist here in New York City, a longtime digital artist. I'm the founder of Monograph, and it is true that in May of 2014, how does my clicker work? There we go. I put that artwork on the Namecoin blockchain. It's the first artwork to be put on chain in an ownership capacity. And for me, it was, people kind of want to have asked me about that story in that moment. I'm a digital artist and a media artist, and have worked in the art world, the fine art world of museums and galleries, and that it's gone okay. But myself, my friends, everybody at that time was struggling with how to really fit into the market systems that were prevalent, at the time. People collect paintings; they don't collect media. And so, the story, kind of begins there, but then also first learning about Bitcoin in 2012, and the whole kind of crazy, incredible system that Satoshi put together where you've got the source code, you can download it, you can look at it, you can run it, you've got the database, everyone's got the database, everything is there, it's all out in the open, everybody has everything, but I can still own my Bitcoin, and you can still own your Bitcoin. It's ubiquitous, but it's scarce at the same time. And so for me, I'm a digital artist, and I'm thinking that needs to work for art. That can work for digital artists. It can be out and shared and in the public where everyone wants it to be, but there can be something held back, something that can be owned. And so in 2013 was thinking about that, and at that time all the conversations were happening in Bitcoin Talk Forum, this kind of very small and kind of very peculiar kind of place. All the same drama, believe me, the drama has not changed, but it's was just one URL where it all lived, and so that's where these kind of conversations started, and that led to eventually in that spring kind of figuring out a mechanism for kind of for how it works. But I'm going to go past that. There we go, back to that. But I want to talk more about the future, about now and the future. And to me, it's really clear. I knew it was a big idea back then, but and that's proved to be true. But I didn't know, and this is what I was saying to Carrie backstage. I didn't know the feeling of energy that was going to be here, right? So, and that's what's really exciting. So, with NFTs, NFTs are bigger than cryptocurrency, and will be bigger than cryptocurrency because it's how media becomes software. Media is software in NFTs, and not a digital object that's operated on by software, but it's the software itself, the functions themselves. Media and that functionality, that software functionality, are integrated together in a really fundamental way, and that is really, really, really important because when media is software, when media becomes software, that's the API for culture itself. Culture has an API, digital API, when NFTs and become when media becomes software, and that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. That will have a profound effect on the on our lives. If you think about the past, it doesn't matter really how old you are. You kind of know, you either lived it or you know about it. We all kind of know this intuitively. This past, say, 30-year arc is this arc of digitization that we've all lived through. Starting with kind of business records and then messages and then images, videos, blah blah blah, and then kind of everything. Right, and we know this kind of digitization process because we live it every day. Now that it's largely complete, think of the world in maybe it's 40 years, I don't know, 80, 90 till now, something like that arc, and we're largely through that arc now, and we're going to live through that same arc again. through tokenization. Tokenization is going to retrace that same kind of arc as all that had been digital becomes tokens and becomes tokenized. And that's going to have a really profound effect. It's going to change in the same way that kind of companies that no one heard of kind of came out of nowhere, and now they become kind of worldwide phenomena. We'll see the same thing with protocols that seem to have come out of nowhere, distributed systems that kind of seem to have kind of emerged, and then kind of redefine the scene. And so we'll see that arc take place. That's going to happen, I think, in stages. Obviously, it's going to everything kind of comes in stages of that process of tokenization. And so in my mind, kind of those stages are kind of monetization of graphics. Monetize graphics is maybe the first, or is the first. The second one I think is going to be rights on chain. And I think rights that's going to be a really important component. And then the third thing is tokens driving software execution itself. Tokens driving the execution. And I think that's going to be a really big deal. I want to talk about that one first. There we go. Oops. Oh, that didn't work. My embedded video thing didn't work. Okay, so I guess I'm not that good at digital art. So I did this this summer. I did this project called Quantum Leap. It's a really beautiful project, and we launched it with Philips, with the Philips auction house. And so it's kind of inspired by the kind of the quantum artwork and that kind of kaleidoscope generative thing that it does. But the software, it's a software environment, and you as a token holder, as a token holder, it's not just a kind of representation, kind of off chain or kind of on chain, like quantum was and like like most NFTs are. The token is you connect the token to the software environment, and the token uniquely drives that software to present a certain thing. So your token gives you your version of the artwork. No token, no art. Your token, it's your art. That token drives that process. And so this project, which I'm really happy of, and oh, there we go. Oh, awesome. There's at least a picture. Fantastic. There's a, so this is a, it was this live coded, live code software environment, and I think that is really, really important. And this project is just kind of just scratching the surface of tokens driving the software. The big problem with this right now, the big limiting factor, is when you think about it, the only place that we connect tokens to, wallets to, are web browsers. Go to the website, connect wallet, do our stuff, Uniswap, whatever. It's all right there. Tokens, kind of tokens doing that. So we need better execution environments to connect wallets to. Better, more secure, more powerful, more robust, more flexible than web browsers. Web browsers are great, but not everything is in a web browser. We can connect those wallets to something else, something better. There's a whole lot that becomes possible. And so I think that's a really big deal. I want to circle back to this the other phase, the other stage, rights on chain. And so I think that is also a really big deal. There is a whole lot of this world that depends on rights in a traditional sense, and especially in the world of media. And so that includes music, and that includes film. And so when rights become expressible in all of their robustness that they are in the traditional world, when those become expressible on chain, and there's a kind of correlation between the legal world, the physical world, and legal world, and the on-chain world, it's going to unlock a lot of things. And so I'm excited to talk about really quickly about one example of that. We just and so me and my partner Jennifer, we're just released a collaboration with the musician Timbaland, and Timbaland is releasing a EP of new songs that he will be releasing this EP of new songs, and so prior to that release, he's taken these songs and he's broken them up, deconstructed them into the original tracks, the stems. And so those stems, and we've made kind of images that go with that, and those stems are remixable, collectible, and then remixable by the part, on part of his fans. And because the legal rights are in place and the legal rights are on chain, that kind of thing is possible. And so this project called Opera Noir is the auction for that starts today. Tonight we're doing some giveaways, and people have signed up for that. But so those three things, those things together, that token that drives software, that rights-enabled and rights-powered system, those things together are what's going to power this tokenization of everything and create this massive, massive market that all of us here now can feel is inevitable. So that's it. I'm out of my time. Thank you, everybody, and great festival.